One, two, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and I did say 1, 2. It's the guy who's tired as hell, ready to call it a day. But I saw the Kingsman, and man, normally January is where films would go to die. But in this instance, this is a change of pace. Films are coming to live. Haha, live in January now. Because we had movies that really had a hard time getting released last year with theaters slowly opening up and getting multiple releases within a week. We're just still, trying to come back from really from what happened during C-19. Now we get this treat. Quite sure it probably would have been in my 2021 best movies list had it been released before New Year's. Now, since we're here, this is a movie with Ralph Fiennes, basically showing this is the prequel to The Kingsman, in case you guys don't know. And what they're doing is they're preparing you for what you're going to see later, well, what you've already seen in the first two films. They've gone back and start making the prequels. The Marv Company with Matthew Vaughn, his company, Marv, and Marvel has really been on his case about their logo and everything that they were doing. They had Kick Ass and all of these other projects that they had. Marvel was like this close from suing the living hell out of them. Tried to get them to change their logo. They changed the logo up now. It looked like some dice. So it was a lot of confusion with that. But this movie starts off showing the war, back in the old war, the 1900s, and you're watching like World War I or II kick off, and Ralph Fiennes and his family, and how it dictates everything that's being determined by war as far as factions and different groups are forming and making their own pacts to basically fight their own government. And they're not in agreement with other countries who've had their foot on the neck of other countries for years. So you're starting to see this whole movie is Euro. So if you're not, the United States is like barely in this movie, but it's funny when they do cover a scene from the United States with the president. But this is a UK movie. It's very English, and the tone, the comedy, everything about it had a very shocking moment in the film that I didn't see coming. Like I didn't see that sticking. I didn't see any of that coming, and it was a great surprise. So that shot came in, and I was wow. And you see a lot of the visuals are great, just like the Kingman, Matthew Vaughn, camera angles and shots, and a lot of the things make sense. Something happened near the ending, the fight, the final battle with the bad guy. Already, foreshadowing. I've seen too many movies before. I've seen where these things go bad, and this is what happened with the Kingsman. The final battle scene, that turned into a ridiculous ending. I thought because I predicted it from like halfway in the movie, like the first 20 minutes, and I said, okay, this is gonna be the moment. The foreshadowing was just brutal. You've seen majority of this stuff in other films, so made a lot of sense. Yo, what's up? I mean, for me, it was different. Um, I thought the movie was geniusly put together. Very great visuals. I love those type of uh, films that's basically dated back in the old eras of the 1800s, 1900s. I like those old English films. I grew up on those UK type films. But like for instance, the Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., which I heard they're finally going to complete the trilogy. Um, COVID obviously stopped it from being made by now and put out with Moriarty, and Robert Downey Jr. will be reprising his role, him and Jude Law. So, yeah, well, there was a lot of instances that took place that a lot of people in this film can put to date with the actual tragedies that was happening in real life society. So that's the way I look at it. No, 3.5 stars for this film. Very, very well done. The ending is what cost the half a star. They just couldn't land that plane to my satisfaction. I like the way they went about setting up everything for the shows how the Kingsman came to be. But the final boss fight, I didn't like that at all. It was cheesy done. And I said, oh God, please don't do this. Please don't do this ending. And they did it. And it was even goofier than the way I thought it would go. I said, "Oh God, it's even more worse than I thought it was going to be if they went this route. It's even more ridiculous." So, oh, I didn't know you had it, Bear. Well, I hope you feel better. I think LB had it really bad. So I'm hoping they get well. I think Outlaw had it. I'm gonna knock on weather. I mean on leather because I haven't had it. Well, that's the thing. I'm not around a lot of people every day. So I've been very fortunate to it's just me in this house. Everywhere you go, I got cans of Lysol everywhere. It's a can of Lysol on that floor over there. So, well, every day I basically get some rubbing alcohol, rub it on my hands, rub it on my nose, inhale it so it could burn any pores. Like when I come in the door, gargle with mouthwash coming in from out of the house so it could burn or any of that stuff in the back of my throat. So if it is there, it ain't gonna make it long to get in my system because it's gonna be burnt out. Mine'll be here and gone so quick it wouldn't even make it because my house stay like an inferno. So it's hard for those things to survive during heat. So they don't normally make it. No, I love the movie. That's why I gave it the stars it deserved. What do I see for the future? I can't see the future, but if I was to look into the future, would I see from this group and make more Kingsman movies and keeping that core group in place? They could make some pretty interesting films because there's a lot of stories they could tell. So yeah, they could do that. Yeah, 3.5 stars out of 4. Oh, gotta love it. Oh, Guy Ritchie. Matthew Vaughn did this. Guy Ritchie. It's kind of the the shooting styles are very similar. Like if you watched Game of Shadows with Sherlock Holmes, it looks a lot like this film. Guy Ritchie is better, I think, at the shots. I love the way he directs. The Gentleman, his dialogue is hilarious. A lot of profanity in his, but oh, when it's super Euro, you won't understand a word of any what anybody's saying. He ain't got a knock with his pockets, yeah. And I wrote it on the Chevy Chase, and then he said the Chevy the pockets in his chain, and the course get a bike and back and even his yoga. First good night. You'd be like, what the hell did he just say? That was English? Oh yeah, I got the Carl Thomas on, boy. Shoot, the weather calls for it. The weather calls for the Carl Thomas sweater. What I plan to do today, when the sun go up, I go down. I'm gonna get my vampire on and go to sleep. I'm gonna watch the rest of Kwame video, but I'm gonna get up out of here. Love, peace, and hair grease.